It is 4 p.m. on the nose on the 22nd day of January 2026. A very good afternoon to you, wherever you're joining us from. It's time for Citizen Briefs. My name is Melita Oletenges. Citizen Briefs begins now. Now, High Court Judge Bahati Mwamuye has declared the creation of offices for 21 presidential advisors unconstitutional, faulting the process used to establish the positions and appointing the office holders. The court found that the actions leading to the establishment of the advisory offices by the first and second respondents were unlawful, rendering the appointments of all 21 advisors null and void. Justice Mwamuye quashed the decision to create the advisory positions and appoint individuals to those offices, effectively removing the advisors from their roles. The court also issued a permanent injunction barring the processing of payment of any salaries, allowances, or benefits to the 21 advisors. Ruto has directed all students to report to their schools by tomorrow morning, whether or not they have school fee, saying the government has given 44 billion shillings capitation to ensure smooth transition to grade 10. Speaking when he disbursed Nyota grants to youth from Embu, Meru and Tharaka Nithi, the president told chiefs and assistant chiefs to spearhead the mop-up of students.
No child, and let me repeat, for our education stakeholders, I am directing that no child should remain at home because they do not have school fees. Every child must go to school. Kwa sababu tumetuma pesa bilioni 44 kusomesha watoto wetu. In any case, there is sufficient money for teachers, for our children to be taught in the first term. So every child, wawe na school fees, wasiwe na school fees. Wawe na uniform, wasiwe na uniform. Waende shuleni tomorrow morning. Na mimi nataka chiefs, na assistant chiefs, na members of provincial administration. Every child in Kenya must report to school tomorrow because we have provided the money to teach all our children. Tunaelewana jameni?
Meanwhile, United Green Movement presidential aspirant David Maraga has castigated the government for the rushed implementation of the competency-based education, which he says threatens to lock out millions of learners from accessing quality education. Maraga cited concerns raised by education stakeholders, including the shortage of teachers, inadequate CBE infrastructure in senior schools, as well as the lack of school fees for thousands of learners still stuck at home. The former Chief Justice was speaking at a young aspirants training forum for the UGM party held in Kisumu.
My fear is that we are going to lose quite a number of young people in this process. I saw in the papers the other day that they are saying, look, this is like a pilot program. You'll get a few who will do very well. But what about the majority? What about the majority? Losing one is bad enough. So it is the question of implementation, and the government is totally ill-prepared. The teachers, we all know, and the teachers have said it, they are not prepared to, for this CBC or CPE program, and that's why it is so haphazard.
Now, as Kenya and India prepare to mark the 63rd anniversary of their diplomatic ties, the two countries have renewed calls for deeper cooperation in political and economic spheres, as well as in education and health. Speaking during a symposium held on Thursday, leaders from both sides underscored the need to generate actionable policy pathways and strengthen institutional cooperation as part of efforts to reshape India-Kenya relations in the 21st century. The forum brought together senior government officials, diplomats and other key stakeholders who focused on identifying practical strategies to translate dialogue into sustained and strengthened partnerships.
And we are welcome, sir. One for our washroom.
India-Kenya relations have acquired renewed momentum. At the political level, regular high-level exchanges have provided strategic direction and trust. At the economic level, India is today among Kenya's leading trade partners, with bilateral trade around USD $3.5 billion. Nearly 200 Indian companies operate in Kenya across manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, ICT, energy, banking and infrastructure, contributing to employment, skills development, and local value addition.
But you can see just the demographic contribution that both Africa and India are making to the globe is really important. India's approach to Africa that has been anchored in developmental cooperation, capacity building, technology transfer, and soft power finds a natural partner in Kenya as a regional hub, a gateway to Eastern and Central Africa, and a leading voice within the African Union and regional economic communities. Kenya offers India both strategic access and political partnership. High-level engagements have consistently reinforced this relationship.
Elsewhere, more than 600 students from Siaya County received bursaries worth 4.8 million shillings under the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, NGAF. During the ceremony held at Siaya National Polytechnic, presided over by Siaya County Woman Representative Dr. Christine Ombaka, 35 water tanks worth 2.1 million shillings were also distributed to learning institutions. Out of the 4.8 million shillings, each beneficiary received 10,000 shillings. Female students also received additional support in the form of sanitary pads to reduce absenteeism in schools. Dr. Ombaka called on the government to increase NGAF allocation, saying the current amount is not sufficient.
My big agenda in this county is to promote education. It was therefore a very opportune time for me to give bursaries to needy students who asked for the bursaries. Although the fund we are given is so little, I'm still very proud that I was able to give at least 600 students bursaries, each child getting 10,000. That has been the trend. That is what I've been doing all along. And I continue with the students I started with in Form 1. So I go along with them up to the time they finish their education. So every year from my office, we give 10,000 bursary.
In Siaya County, we had 600 students today receiving bursary checks. We had 4.8 million Kenya shillings, which was given to all the students in Form 3, Form 4, and university, colleges, and tertiary institution in Kenya. And also we were giving out 35 water tanks. That is a project from the county-wide project, which is meant for Siaya County. All the 6 sub-counties, we gave out the 35 water.
Naivasha MP Jane Kihara has criticized the Ministry of Education's order to trace absentee grade 10 learners, blaming economic hardship, poor planning and lack of funding for delay by over 400,000 students in reporting to school. While distributing 88 million shillings in bursary at Kinamba Center, Kihara termed the decision by the government to spend millions on empowerment programs as schools continue to face teacher, classroom and material shortages as misplaced priorities. Parents and students describe the support as much needed life lineups.
You see, he has sent chiefs to go and look for kids to go to school. He has not given the chiefs money. We know where they are. They are at home because there is no money. And then you are telling us for optics, and the chiefs are all over to make sure that children go to school. Children are not going to school because of anything else other than money. The teachers are also desperate. How to sustain them.
Wamama wengi walikuwa wafanyikazi wa mashamba ya maua. Kwa hii mpango ya kukatwa mapesa aina mingi walifutwa kazi. Watoto wenye nimechukua hawangeenda shule na hii ni basara ya 3.
Nimepitia changamoto sana, lakini nikaenda kwa ofisi ya mheshimiwa na nikamlilia sana. Kusema ukweli, mtoto wangu alikuwa amepita na sikukuwa hata na hela ya kumpeleka shule.
The Jubilee Party has announced leadership changes ahead of its grassroots elections, with Moitalel Olekenta being named the party's new Secretary General. Addressing the press shortly after the party's National Executive Committee meeting at its headquarters in Nairobi, presidential flag bearer Fred Matiang'i said the changes are meant to strengthen the party's administrative structure ahead of the busy general elections campaign.
And we are serious enough that this year, in addition to the nomination process, we'll even issue a manual for our candidates and what we expect our candidates to do. The only point I want to emphasize is this, and my brothers who are here and sisters can agree with me because this is something that we have talked over and over again. We in Jubilee will have an open and transparent process of nomination. Only the popular candidates will be given tickets. We will not take money from anybody. And you will not be nominated as a candidate because you are my friend or you are Zak's friend or you are Murathe's friend. That does not exist in this party.
We will take it with pride. We will give it our whole. Na nimemsikia vile amesema na sio kazi rahisi. Ni kazi mzito lakini tutaifanya kwa sababu Mwenyezi Mungu atatusaidia.
I'm very happy to work with you people and more so the young people. It's your country, it's your future, and your time is now.
Please, we believe the Jubilee Party will be out. Now, Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro has assured parents that the proposal to introduce free-day secondary education will be fully implemented by June this year. Speaking in Mombasa, Nyoro outlined a proposed cost-sharing framework aimed at sustaining the program. Under the plan, each constituency will contribute 30 million shillings, translating to about 30 billion shillings nationally. County governments will also be expected to inject an additional 10 billion into the initiative. The funds, he says, will go towards easing the financial burden on parents, with learners in day secondary schools being given priority, I should say. Nyoro, however, cautioned politicians against politicizing the proposal and appealed to them to prioritize the welfare and future of learners across the country.
The national government, and especially the Ministry of Education, to also rearrange their budget and raise an extra 10 billion Kenya shillings. We put that money into a kitty of day school. Kenya requires only 30 billion shillings to make day secondary school education free and totally free, including lunch. And Kenya must start that journey today, not tomorrow. We must never use basic education ever again as a tool anywhere in the election period. The day secondary school and basic education must be made free. And by the way, my goal is for us to have free basic education from term 2 of 2026. Because education, in all economic models, education is the #1 parameter of an economy, for economy to grow. It brings R&D, it brings technology, it brings about skills. We must make this available to all Kenyans. And I can guarantee you, whether I'll be alone as a member of parliament, I'll do it and it will happen.
The government, through the Uwezo Fund Oversight Board, has disbursed over 8 billion shillings since the fund was established in 2014 to empower youth and persons with disabilities. However, loan repayment remains a concern, with only 2.3 billion returned out of the 8.1 billion disbursed. The government has established an intensified recovery campaign to pursue defaulters.
Our loans we give to groups, and you find that after a short while the group is no longer together, and we have an issue with that. So what we are encouraging is we are doing more sensitization. We are doing a lot of capacity building to make sure that these groups are, these funds is beneficial to these groups, and people see the need of coming up to take up these loans.
We are following up. We are using the administrative officers to ensure that we are able to recover. We are also taking capacity building to this group. Not only that are we following up on them, we are also understanding the challenges they face so that we can be able to, #1, give a top-up in case maybe their business has gone under.
All right, that's the latest from our newsroom at this hour. Many thanks for staying with us. My name is Melita Oletenges. More news updates coming your way at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Good afternoon.